die of the one that was taken from me. Same for most of my family. And as for vengeance...
Welcome to the U.S. Marshals.
You know, sometimes good men have to do bad things. But I'm trying to find a new beginning.
Casey, meet my Marshals.
This'll be fun.
Titans are all born with a killer instinct. But you're not a killer, Casey. You're a protector.
Yellowstone fans, get ready, because we are only days away from the premiere of Marshals, the most unique spin-off yet. Trust me, this series is going to leave us speechless, and I cannot wait to see what unfolds. I know you're just as excited as I am. In this video, we're diving into the first episode of Marshals, why Casey will leave his peaceful life behind, return to the action-packed world he knows so well, and, most importantly, when we can watch this thrilling new series. Buckle up, because some of what I'm about to share might shock you. Why Casey leaves East Camp. The trailer gives us a haunting glimpse of what's ahead. Casey and Tate are seen with someone in Casey's bed, likely Monica, covered by a white sheet, an image that strongly suggests Monica has died. Another scene shows someone approaching Casey at night, carrying a blanket. From a distance, it looks like Monica, but her face is never shown. My guess? Monica may be portrayed by a stunt double in these moments before her death. If Kelsey as Bill were involved, we'd almost certainly see her face in the trailer. So why does Monica die? If it were from natural causes, Casey might have stayed and tried to cope. But it seems more likely her death was caused by hostile forces targeting Native Americans. Adding weight to this theory, Thomas Rainwater and Mo will appear in the series. Thomas has always been there for the community when tragedy strikes, so it's likely he'll stand by Casey as they seek justice for Monica. In Marshals, expect to see Thomas and Mo investigating Monica's killer in their own way, while Casey works alongside the U.S. Marshals. And I suspect one more person will seek vengeance: Tate. Already deeply affected in Yellowstone, losing his mother could push him to take matters into his own hands. As he's no longer a little kid, Tate might actively pursue Monica's killers, leaving Casey and Thomas struggling to keep up, especially as Casey is tied up with his duties as a marshal. Who calls Casey back? Case is summoned by his former SEAL team leader, Pete Calvin, played by Logan Marshall Green. Pete heads the Marshals team and is shown in the trailer as both caring and professional, someone who'll stay by Casey's side as he navigates his grief and duty. Meet the Marshals. Andrea, Ash Santos, a Bronx native exiled to Montana for speaking out in her previous job. Is she an ethical powerhouse or someone who stirs trouble? Either way, her presence promises tension and intrigue. Belle, Ariel Kebbel, a former ATF agent who thrives in undercover work. Warm, friendly, and mysterious, Belle might help Casey adjust to life as a marshal, and maybe even fill some of the void left by Monica. Miles, Tatanka Means, a former police officer from the Broken Rock Reservation who wanted to protect his community rather than police it. Miles is a morally strong, deeply layered character who immediately raises the stakes. Action, connections, and guest appearances. Marshals promises more action than any previous Yellowstone spin-off. While it may not feature many returning characters, there will likely be nods to the original series. Monica's funeral will almost certainly bring back Beth, Rip, and the old Yellowstone crew, and Tate may turn to them for guidance as he struggles with grief. These connections ensure Marshals stays tied to the Yellowstone universe while forging its own path. When can you watch? Mark your calendars. The first episode of Marshals premieres March 1st on CBS. Expect drama, heart-pounding action, and a story that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Now it's your turn. What do you think will happen in Marshals? Was Monica truly murdered? Let's discuss in the comments. Something unimaginable is about to shake the Yellowstone universe, and it all starts with the first look at Marshals. Fans, brace yourselves because the trailer for episode 1 has just dropped, and it leaves us with one chilling question. Is Monica really gone? The images we've seen, the cryptic glimpses of Casey, Tate, and the people around them, all point to a tragedy that will turn everything upside down. The calm life Casey built with Monica and Tate at East Camp might already be a thing of the past, and the trailer gives us just enough to know that the first episode is going to be heart-wrenching, full of suspense, and packed with action we've never seen in a Yellowstone spin-off before. Every glance, every shadow, every subtle detail in the trailer seems to hint at secrets, revenge, and the return of chaos that will pull Casey back into a world he thought he had left behind. The suspense is unbearable. The tension is tangible. And as we dig deeper into the trailer, every frame seems to scream one thing: nothing will ever be the same again. From the first seconds, we are thrown into a story that promises heartbreak, moral dilemmas, and explosive drama. And if you think you know what's coming, the trailer is already proving otherwise. So, get ready, because what we are about to uncover in this video will take you scene by scene, speculation by speculation, and theory by theory into the shocking reality of Marshals Episode 1. Strap in, because the twists start now. From the very first glimpse in the trailer, it's clear that the serene life Casey has tried to build at East Camp with Monica and Tate is about to be torn apart. The trailer opens with quiet, almost peaceful moments. Tate playing, Casey looking contemplative, Monica's presence hinting at stability and family. But the serenity doesn't last long, because almost immediately, we are confronted with imagery that is dark, mysterious, and heartbreaking. A white sheet covering someone lying in a bed, most likely Monica, signals a tragedy that will hit Casey with devastating force. What's particularly haunting is the way the trailer avoids showing her face clearly, which immediately raises questions. Is this simply a dramatic choice? Or is it a hint that Monica's death will be sudden, shocking, and perhaps even violent? The narrative the trailer sets up is one where loss is the spark that ignites the story, and it's this loss that will drive Casey out of the quiet life he has been trying to protect. From the very first frame, the emotional weight is heavy, and the audience can feel the tension building as Casey is forced to confront a world that has suddenly become unpredictable and dangerous. The trailer also hints that this tragedy will not just affect Casey, but Tate as well. Tate, having already endured trauma in his young life, is faced with the unimaginable, the potential death of his mother. And from the glimpses we see, Tate's reaction is likely to be one of pain, confusion, and eventually, a desire for justice that could set him on a collision course with the very forces Casey will have to navigate as a U.S. Marshal. The trailer makes it clear that Casey's world will now be divided between the personal and the professional. The emotional struggle of losing Monica versus the intense, high-stakes environment of the Marshals' work. It's this duality that sets Marshals apart from previous spin-offs. Here, the action is driven not just by crime and danger, but by profound personal loss and a thirst for justice that cuts deep into the characters' hearts. And while we are only seeing a few seconds of the trailer, these glimpses already suggest that the story will explore questions of morality, loyalty, and revenge. Why did this tragedy happen? Who is responsible? And how far will Casey, Tate, and the people around them go to make things right? Even the background elements, the night scenes, the shadows, the expressions of characters we recognize, hint at a narrative that is both emotionally gripping and suspenseful. A story that promises to keep fans on the edge of their seats from the very first episode. The trailer isn't just teasing action, it's teasing emotional depth, moral dilemmas, and a story that will resonate because of its stakes. We see Casey grappling with grief, yet at the same time, we see the resolve forming in him, an unmistakable signal that, despite the heartbreak, he will step into action, and this is where the real intensity begins. The first section of the trailer sets the tone perfectly. Quiet moments shattered by shocking tragedy, a hero forced back into action, and a young boy whose world has been turned upside down. This is more than just a spin-off. It is a story of loss, vengeance, and the difficult choices people make when confronted with the darkest moments of their lives. And as the trailer continues, one can't help but feel the suspense building with every frame. Because if this is just the beginning, Episode 1 promises a roller coaster of emotions and events that will leave audiences breathless. Before Episode 1 even hits our screens, the trailer for Marshals already gives us tantalizing hints about what this spin-off is truly going to be. From the first frame, it's clear that this series is not just another Yellowstone story. It's a deeper, more action-packed, and emotionally charged journey into the life of Casey, the man we thought had left the chaos behind. We know Casey will be pulled back into a world of danger, but the trailer also introduces the other members of the Marshal team, each bringing their own history, strengths, and secrets to the mix. Pete Calvin, Casey's former SEAL team leader and the head of the Marshals, immediately establishes the high-stakes tone. From the trailer, it's obvious how much Pete cares about Casey. He's professional, tactical, and unwavering. Yet he seems to be the one anchor that will help Casey navigate both the intense world of the Marshals and the emotional turmoil caused by Monica's death. Then there's Andrea, a Bronx native who has been exiled to Montana for speaking up at the wrong time in her past job. The trailer teases her strength, ethics, and fiery determination, suggesting that she will challenge the team, push boundaries, and potentially get them into unpredictable situations. Belle, a former ATF agent who thrives on undercover work, is shown in the trailer as a warm, friendly, and approachable presence, but the way she moves and observes her surroundings hints at a hidden depth. Could she become the emotional support for Casey after Monica? Could she also be the one to stir tension within the team when the stakes rise? Then there's Miles, a former police officer from the Broken Rock Reservation, whose moral compass and dedication to protecting his people give the team a profound ethical dimension. The trailer highlights the way he interacts with the other characters, suggesting that his decisions will carry weight not just in the cases the team handles, but also in the personal struggles each member faces. From all these glimpses, it's clear that Marshals is shaping up to be a story where every character matters, every relationship has tension, and every choice carries consequences. The trailer also hints at the unique environment the team operates in, Montana. Wide open landscapes, remote areas, and situations that blend the raw beauty of nature with the raw danger of the cases they investigate. And while the spin-off is expected to be action-heavy, the trailer makes it evident that the emotional stakes will be just as high. Casey grieving Monica, Tate processing trauma, and the team navigating both personal and professional challenges. We see flashes of intense confrontations, night operations, and moments of subtle drama where characters communicate more with looks than words, suggesting that the storytelling will rely heavily on tension, suspense, and the emotional weight of what's at stake. Perhaps most importantly, the trailer sets up the moral and personal dilemmas that will define the series. How far will Casey go for justice? How will Tate process his pain and desire for revenge? What will each Marshal do when the line between right and wrong becomes blurred in the pursuit of their missions? And while we don't yet see the full Yellowstone connection, the trailer hints that the legacy of the original series will still echo through this spin-off, ensuring that fans feel the continuity and emotional resonance of a shared universe. From the visual storytelling to the character dynamics teased in these first glimpses, Marshals promises not just a thrilling action series, but an exploration of grief, loyalty, justice, and the heavy burden that comes with both. Even before the premiere, the trailer makes it clear. This is going to be a spin-off unlike anything we've seen, combining raw action with raw emotion, and setting the stage for an unforgettable first episode that will leave fans desperate for more. Every detail we know now, from casting to character backstories to the tone of the trailer, feeds into the anticipation and raises the stakes for what Episode 1 will deliver. The calm before the storm is over, the tension is building, and the trailer has already given us enough to start speculating, theorizing, and preparing ourselves for a premiere that promises heartbreak, suspense, and action all in one explosive package. From the very first frames of the Marshals trailer, it's painfully clear that Casey's peaceful life is about to come crashing down, and what we see hints at a tragedy so personal that nothing will ever be the same. The trailer immediately sets a tone of heartbreak and urgency, showing Casey not in action, but in moments of quiet grief and reflection, a man grappling with a loss that cuts deeper than anything he has faced before. The central question that haunts us is simple but devastating. Why is Casey leaving the safe, calm life he built with Monica and Tate at East Camp? Every frame of the trailer seems to answer that question with tension and subtle clues. The glimpses of someone lying covered in a white sheet, the shadows that hide faces, the quiet nighttime encounters, all suggest that Monica has died, and it's not from natural causes. There's a chilling implication that this loss is violent, sudden, and possibly driven by hostility toward Native Americans, considering the story's ties to Thomas Rainwater and Mo, who have always been there to support their community. Casey's reaction is the key: grief, anger, and a growing resolve that nothing will stand in his way. The trailer shows him being called back into action, not just as a former SEAL, but as someone who must confront the injustice behind Monica's death. It's this combination of personal loss and professional duty that sets the stage for Marshals. Casey is no longer just a father or a partner. He's a man torn between revenge, protection, and the responsibilities of the job he once thought he left behind. What makes this even more intense is the involvement of Tate, Already traumatized by previous events in Yellowstone, Tate now faces the unimaginable, the possible loss of his mother. The trailer hints at the devastating impact this will have on him emotionally, mentally, and morally, suggesting that his path could intersect with Casey's in both cooperative and chaotic ways. And while Casey is drawn back into the high-stakes world of the Marshals, the trailer also teases the looming presence of his former SEAL leader, Pete Calvin. Pete's role is critical, both as a professional guide and as someone who understands Casey on a deeper level. Someone who will help him navigate the transition from private grief to public duty. From the trailer, we can see that the call to the Marshals is not just about enforcing the law. It's about Casey confronting the forces that destroyed his family life, seeking justice for Monica, and preventing Tate from going down a path that could endanger himself. The personal and professional stakes are fused together in a way that's both compelling and terrifying. Every scene, every expression, every silent moment in the trailer conveys the tension. Casey's internal struggle, the weight of responsibility, and the undeniable pull of revenge and justice. The trailer doesn't just show us that Casey is leaving, it makes us feel why he cannot stay. His love for Monica, his bond with Tate, and his sense of moral duty all collide to push him back into a world of danger, action, and heartbreak. And while the full story of why he left will only unfold in episode 1, the trailer gives us enough to speculate. Monica's death is the trigger, the catalyst that propels Casey into the Marshals' high-risk, high-stakes world. But it's not just about action, it's about character. Casey is a man shaped by loss, responsibility, and honor. And the trailer shows us that the choice to leave everything behind is not taken lightly. It's emotional, it's gut-wrenching, and it sets up a narrative that promises to be as much about human resilience and morality as it is about suspense and explosive action. Every detail hints at a series that will explore grief, loyalty, and revenge, while simultaneously setting up an intense procedural story where Casey's past, present, and the shadow of Monica's death will drive every decision, every confrontation, and every shocking twist. This is more than a spin-off. It's a story about why a man must face chaos to protect what matters most, even when it costs him everything he thought he had. The trailer already makes it impossible to look away, leaving fans on edge, questioning what will happen next, and knowing that the first episode will deliver answers, and likely more questions than we could ever imagine. From the very first glimpses of the Marshals trailer, it's obvious that this spin-off is breaking away from anything we've seen in the Yellowstone universe before. The trailer doesn't just tease action, it screams it, hinting at a level of intensity, danger, and brutality that sets it apart from its predecessors. While Yellowstone, and even 1923, offered high stakes in family drama, Marshals promises to take everything up a notch. Faster action, more morally complex missions, and personal stakes that hit harder than ever. The trailer gives us flashes of tense confrontations, high-risk operations, and moments where every decision carries life or death consequences. What makes this series even more intense is the way the personal and professional worlds collide. Casey's grief over Monica, Tate's trauma, and the Marshal team's own secrets all intertwine with the law enforcement missions they undertake, creating a narrative where no one is ever fully safe, and the line between right and wrong becomes increasingly blurred. The trailer hints at this layered tension through night operations, shadowed figures, and sequences that suggest betrayal, confrontation, and shocking reveals. It's not just about catching criminals, it's about facing an unforgiving world where every choice has repercussions, and every moral compromise carries weight. Another factor that makes Marshals so gripping is the emotional intensity that underpins the action. The trailer shows Casey struggling with heartbreak, rage, and responsibility simultaneously, creating a hero who is not invincible, but profoundly human. Tate's emotional journey adds even more weight. Already traumatized, he is now confronted with the unimaginable loss of his mother, setting the stage for a storyline where vengeance and justice collide, and where even a single wrong move could spiral into chaos. And the Marshal team itself, the mix of personalities, skills, and backgrounds, adds layers of suspense and unpredictability. Pete Calvin is a mentor and protector, but also a tactical force who demands precision, discipline, and loyalty. Andrea brings intelligence, courage, and ethical dilemmas that could challenge the team's cohesion, while Belle's undercover expertise and warmth suggest she could become Casey's anchor, or his vulnerability, depending on how the story unfolds. Miles brings moral complexity and loyalty to his people, raising the stakes whenever Native American issues intersect with the team's cases. The trailer teases moments of conflict, subtle power dynamics, and explosive collaboration that hint at both teamwork and tension that could explode at any moment. And while the Yellowstone connection remains, it's minimal yet meaningful. The echoes of past characters like Thomas Rainwater, Mo, Beth, and Rip serve as emotional touchstones, reminding us that the world Casey inhabits is vast, interconnected, and full of consequences that reverberate beyond a single story. But the most striking aspect of the trailer is how brutal the first episode promises to be. From the heartbreak of Monica's death to the potentially violent encounters the team faces, we are set up for a spin-off where danger is constant, the stakes are personal, and the emotional weight never lifts. It's not just a law enforcement story. It's a story about grief, revenge, morality, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Every glimpse, every frame, every hint of action in the trailer builds toward the understanding that Marshals will push the limits of the Yellowstone universe, emotionally, morally, and physically. Fans are being warned, this is not a gentle spin-off. It's raw, it's intense, and it will keep viewers on edge from the first second to the last. And the most terrifying part? We are only seeing the tip of the iceberg. If the trailer already hints at heartbreak, tactical brilliance, and moral dilemmas, the first episode promises to immerse audiences in a story where every character, every choice, and every confrontation will have consequences we can't even imagine. Marshals isn't just a continuation of Yellowstone, it's a plunge into chaos, an exploration of human resilience under pressure, and a narrative that proves spin-offs can be bigger, darker, and more emotionally gripping than the original series. The trailer sets the stage for a premiere that will shock, thrill, and leave viewers desperate for answers, proving that when it comes to action, emotion, and suspense, Marshals is about to redefine what a Yellowstone spin-off can be.